Good morning, everyone. I'm convening the Staff Hearing Officer meeting of June 26, 2024. We'll begin with preliminary matters. Ms. Gu, do we have any requests for continuances, withdrawals, postponements, or addition of ex-agenda items?
No, at this time, we do not have any continuances, withdrawals, or postponements. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Next item is an announcement of 209 Modoc Road. This is on a parcel located in the coastal zone non-appealable jurisdiction, currently developed with a 2,043 square foot single-story, single-unit residence. It includes a 400 square foot unfinished basement. The proposal is to construct a two-story detached accessory building consisting of a 470 square foot first floor two-car garage, a 230 square foot first floor workshop, and a 762 square foot second floor one-bedroom accessory dwelling unit, including a 68 square foot second story balcony, a 249 square foot roof deck, and exterior ingress-egress stairs. The proposal includes retaining an as-built 76 square foot lanai at the rear of the parcel. The proposed total of 3,905 square feet of development on this lot is 99% of the maximum required floor-to-lot area ratio. The discretionary application under the jurisdiction of the Staff Hearing Officer is a coastal development permit pursuant to Santa Barbara Municipal Code, Section 2844110. When a proposed development includes the addition of an accessory dwelling unit to an existing single-family residence, the application shall be reviewed by Staff Hearing Officer without a public hearing in accordance to Subdivision J of Government Code 65852.2. Staff Hearing Officer shall not issue a decision on the application until at least 10 calendar days after the notice has been provided to the public. Staff Hearing Officer may receive and consider written comments from the public, but without a public hearing. And the announced decision will be the final action of the city. Ms. Gu, I didn't see any written comments from the public. Were there any in the record?
For this particular item, we did not receive any public comment. Thank you.
Very good. I'm appreciative of the staff report and the clear application submittal. I concur with the findings in the staff report and approve the project subject to the conditions in the staff report, and concur with the CEQA determination. And that is the final action on the 209 Modoc Road item. The next preliminary matter is comments from members of the public pertaining to items not on this agenda. Ms. Gu, is there anyone remotely participating that has their hand up?
I'm checking Zoom. I do not see any hands raised. We did not receive any written general public comment.
Okay, does anyone in the hearing room want to speak on items not on this agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 2. This is a continued item from 2 weeks ago. The planner, Ms. Kelly Broadison, has a PowerPoint presentation that she would share with us. And the architect, Kent Mixon, is also here. Ms. Broadison, when you're ready. And Ms. Gu, could you switch over to Ms. Broadison's PowerPoint, please?
Kelly Broadison, Associate Planner with Community Development. The project I'm presenting today is located at 110 and 150 South Lacumba Road. Here's an aerial photo showing the project site located north of Highway 101, and it's surrounded on 3 sides by streets, including South Lacumba Road to the right, to the east, South Lacumba Lane to the west, and Lacumba Plaza Lane to the north. There's like an echo. Okay. So, as I said, the project involves the 2 properties, and property at 110 Lacumba Lane, or Lacumba Road, is developed with a 2,100 square foot, 1-story non-residential building, and the property at 150 South Lacumba Road developed with a gas station, mini mart, and a hydrogen fueling station. The proposal consists of a lot merger to merge the two lots because the minimum lot size required for a car wash and gas station is, I think it's 8,000 square feet. So they have to merge the two lots. This slide just shows that the lot size of 110 South La Cumbre is 5,600 square feet, and 150 South La Cumbre is about 3,100 square feet, 31,000 square feet. The general plan land use designation is commercial high density, and the zoning is commercial general, and it's also in the Upper State Street overlay. I previously went over the existing development on the site, and the project description is, as I said, merging both lots, demolish the existing commercial building, which is currently used as it's a vacant veterinarian's building. They want to construct a 922 square foot automatic drive-through car wash, which would have 2 vacuum spaces, and it will have 116 linear feet of queuing lane on the site. And the project also includes sidewalk and public right-of-way improvements as shown on the project plans. Let's see, so here's the existing site plan, and it shows the gas station pumps in the center there, that large square. I guess I can point to it. Here's the mini mart up on the upper top of the screen on South La Cumbre Lane. And on the right here is the existing veterinarian's building, which is proposed to be demolished. And in blue, there is the existing property line, which will be erased when they do the lot merger. And to the left, to the far left, is the hydrogen fueling station. The required application that under the staff hearing officer's purview today is a performance standard permit to allow the automated drive-through car wash in the commercial general zone. Just to give a little bit of history on the project site, in 1985, a conditional use permit was approved to convert the existing gas station to a mini mart. In 2014, there was an amendment to the CUP to eliminate the 3 service bays and expand the mini mart. And subsequently, a substantial conformance determination was approved for the installation of a hydrogen fueling station. And then in 2017, there was a modification and a substantial conformance determination, which was required to increase the height of the canopy above the fuel pumps, that it was in the setback. So to increase the height, they required a setback modification. So to get into the nitty-gritty of the car wash, the design standards for a car wash are that the minimum lot size is 8,000 square feet, which is why they're required to merge the lots. Driveway entrances need to be a minimum of 20 feet from the intersection, and internal circulation from a shopping center. This project does not apply. That does not apply to this project because it's a separate lot. Minimum 60-foot queuing lane. This project has 116 square feet or linear feet. And there's required screening for like the existing restrooms and also perimeter property lines adjacent to residential zones. This property is not adjacent to residential zones. It's bounded on 3 sides by public streets. Here's the proposed site plan. You can see here on the right-hand side is where the proposed work will be done, and again pursuant to the lot merger. The car wash building will be completely enclosed, as well as an equipment room. You can see the queuing lane, which will be entered into from the gas station property, and then the car wash, the vacuum parking spaces are to the right of the existing mini mart. Here's a site plan or a floor plan of the car wash drive-through bay and the adjacent equipment room. And the bottom curved area there is a planter. Design standards, there also is required to be landscaping. 150 square foot planter will be installed at the corner of the intersection to the northern property line. And more than 10% of the lot will be landscaped pursuant to the required standards. Operations and storage, as I said, there will be no exposed equipment or work areas. The hours of operation will be limited to 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. The noise levels will comply with the municipal code per a noise assessment that was provided by the applicants in consideration of any residential neighbors within the vicinity. And the project was also reviewed by the Architectural Board of Review, and they were very supportive of the design and the landscaping. Here's a landscape plan showing the required landscaping per the design standards. And also, this would demonstrate how the project will be complying with the stormwater management program, which was reviewed in great detail by the city's creeks department. So for a performance standard permit, there's certain findings that need to be made, and the staff hearing officer must find that the proposed use is allowed with a PSP, which is stated in the zoning ordinance. The proposed project will not be adverse to the public health, safety, or general welfare of the community. The site is physically suitable for the type of use being proposed, including access and utilities. And the total area of the site and setbacks are of sufficient magnitude in view of the character of the land. So as I stated earlier, the project is located in the Upper State Street neighborhood and is compliant with the land use element as described in greater detail in the staff report, and also the environmental resources element of the general plan and the circulation element of the general plan as, again, described in the staff report. Staff we did review this project for compliance with CEQA, and we found that the project is a minor improvement to an existing developed site in an urban environment, and there would be no environmental resources existing on or near this project site. The project is exempt per 15061 common sense exemption. There was a site, an underground tank located on the project where the gas station is. However, the project, the work proposed is being done on the adjacent project site where the veterinarian's building is. So because the work is mostly being done on the site and that the two lots are being merged, staff was able to find that there would be no reason to find this project anything other than exempt per the common sense exemption. Again, I said the project's reviewed by the Architectural Board of Review, and the board supported the design and the layout. They requested more Spanish style and more landscaping, which the applicant responded to. They also have been sensitive to the use of lighting and fixtures and will comply with the city's lighting ordinance. Here's an east elevation, which is the most prominent view of the project facing La Cumbre Road. So in the front, you can see the retaining wall, which would be the planter as required per the design standards. And then to the left, you can see the car wash bay. And then this would be the other most prominent view, which you would see from, for example, 5 Points Shopping Center, or as you're driving west on La Cumbre Road. In conclusion, staff recommends that the staff hearing officer approve the performance standard permit, making the findings in the staff report and subject to the conditions of approval in Exhibit A. And we do have the applicant team here to provide a presentation, and that concludes staff's presentation.
Very good. Thank you very much, Ms. Broadison. Would the applicant team like to present as well?
I don't know how to switch it back to the...
And please introduce yourselves.
Yeah, and I don't know if our plans are...
How do I switch it to the applicant's plans? Kathy, do you know how to do it?
You can get to the folders. Here, I can. Oh. Can you?
Laptop there.
Can, okay. Oh. Can we escape out of that?
Plans, the second one.
Yeah. It's a big file.
Thank you. My name's Kent Mixon from Andalitis Mixon Architects, and I have with me today Rob Fowler, the landscape architect as well. Don't have a whole lot to add. Kelly's presentation was pretty thorough, but just to kind of highlight a couple of things. Here's the site kind of photos of the existing veterinary clinic that there is now. This is looking off of La Cumbre Lane, and just kind of walking around the building. Probably the most prominent elevation is the one, how do I scan here? as we approach kind of coming from State Street head on. And I'll show how we've addressed that with the design of the architecture and the landscape. We worked a lot with the ABR committee in order to kind of address that, and just kind of dealt with the landscaping in general. The rest of these are just pictures of the surrounding area and adjacent properties. You can see that right now the sidewalk kind of stops. This is on La Cumbra Road, just as you leave the gas station property. There's a couple of curb cuts there, and it just becomes parking lot. And we're proposing to extend that and go all the way around the property and merge up with the existing sidewalks that are there all the way around the property. You can see here, this is showing the sidewalk. It stops now about this location, and we'll be extending it all the way around with the boulevard strip and planting at this prominent end of the site. The car wash vacuum bays or the vacuum facilities will be in current location of where there's existing parking now for the mini mart along that location. The queuing comes in here from internal to the property and then comes out and exits the car wash bay here back into the property, and then allows multiple exits from the car wash or from the facility. Like I said, we're removing the driveway entrance here, and there's another one here that's all being removed. We'll retain the four that that are serving the facility as it is now. Let me zoom out here. This is some of the creek's stuff in terms of dealing with the water retention on site and stormwater. That's the existing site plan. There you can see a little bit better with the landscaping. The majority of this site as it is now, at least for the car wash, where the car wash is going, is essentially entirely paved space. It's a building and or parking lot now. And so you can see the difference with the additional landscaping that we're adding to and around this building, and adding some more street trees too that were requested. So this, you can kind of see here, the screening that we worked with ABR on. This is a raised planter on this western side that allows for some kind of minimizing of the building. And then we have a small retaining wall that wraps around the whole queuing lane. That and in addition to landscaping that Robert's providing, with the intention was all to help screen cars from the perimeter of the property that are in the queuing lane to minimize all of that impact. And again, this is the kind of coming from State Street, looking at that building. We've kind of grayed out, but these are all trees that wrap around the internal side of that queuing lane with the intentions to obscure the building. And this is on La Cumbra Lane side. You can see that wall continuing on. Some of the architecture materials that we're proposing, Spanish, and then this shows some simulations of the existing building, and then what's proposed and what that would look like. This is from La Cumbra Road across the street, existing building, and then proposed. And this is kind of standing at the corner of the intersection. And building sections, and then Robert, I don't know if you want to.
Sure. My mic not on. I've been the landscape architect for all the iterations of this project, with the mini marts as they came in, and then expanding the number of pumps, and then the hydrogen fuel cell. So if you look on the west end, the hydrogen fuel cell area is well landscaped, and so part of the flavor of the landscaping was trying to blend what's been done, but by the same token, you have kind of the AT&T building across the intersection that has kind of a southwest Scottsdale, Arizona flavor. So I tried to pick some of that up, and at the same time, I don't know if you're familiar with this site, but it floods. And so we've really tried, that was one of our focuses, was trying to deal with the water on this site so that we could eliminate that situation and all the green spaces, and then working with creeks. I think we've succeeded in doing that. So, so again, it's just meant to kind of fit into what's there, and I think that's about it. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Very good. Yeah, thank you both. I did go out to the site. I noted that the driveway in the northwest end had barricades on it, and I presume that's from cut-through traffic, and was wondering how that would be managed differently in the future.
Well, the reason they've put those up now is because the trucks that deliver to 5 Points cut through there because the exit. I don't know if you could see it here in the site plan. You can kind of see it in this overhead photo here. So the delivery trucks for 5 Points come along the back side of the building, and when they exit here, rather than making that awkward transition to that intersection, they just cut through our property. And you can understand how that is an issue for the gas station. We need that driveway to just help serve the facility. So hopefully just the use of the for traffic that's going through there to the car wash will help to kind of mitigate that, because it's going to be a little different now. That's not a very used driveway now from the gas station, and it's not serving where the car wash is going to be now. So I think the traffic pattern through there, but internally, is going to be much different now, and probably not be encouraging for a truck to kind of go through there. So.
Okay, thank you for that. And I appreciate the sidewalk dedication, the wider sidewalks, and the landscaping is a huge improvement to that area that needs more greenery for sure. Ms. Gu, is there anyone on Zoom that has their hand raised for public comment?
I'm checking Zoom. I don't see any raised hands, and we haven't received any public comment on this particular item. Thank you.
Okay, and does anyone in the hearing room have any public comment on this item? Seeing none, very appreciative of applicant submittals were substantial for this. It's a lot of work for projects on gas station sites, as you two know, and thanks for the good staff work. I concur with the CEQA determination, the findings on the project, and approve this project subject to the conditions recommended in the staff report. And Ms. Gu, could you put the other PowerPoint up so we can give a notice of the appeal period? Somewhere in here. I guess. Okay, so this decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission. For further information and guidelines on that, please contact planning staff at 805-564-5578. The appeal would need to be filed at 630 Garden Street or by email at the email address on the screen within 10 calendar days of this meeting. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the third item. Thank you. Item 3 is 1835 Sunset Avenue. This is for an accessory dwelling unit and modification. This 3,414 square foot site is currently developed with a one-story, 832 square foot single unit residence and detached 149 square foot single car garage. The project consists of a proposal to convert the existing garage to an accessory dwelling unit and as part of the project, construct a 91 square foot single-story addition to the structure such that the proposed ADU will be 240 square feet. The discretionary application under the jurisdiction of the staff hearing officer today is an open yard modification to allow a reduction of the required open yard associated with a conversion of the existing garage and addition to accommodate an accessory dwelling unit. Staff determined that this project is exempt from further environmental review under Section 15303 of the California Environmental Quality Act guidelines, which pertains to new construction or conversion of small structure facilities. Ms. Pilar Plummer is the planner on this project. Ms. Plummer, do you have comments on this project?
Thank you, Ms. Gu. Can you switch to the other screen? Thanks. So as you said, Associate Planner, City of Santa Barbara, I'll be giving the staff presentation for this project and just summarizing the open yard modification that's being requested. So the project site, 1835 Sunset Avenue, is a corner lot located at the intersection of Pedregosa Street and Sunset Avenue. It is subjected to front setbacks, which you can see on the site plan. They have the 10-foot primary front setback off Sunset and the secondary front setback off Pedregosa Street. The existing site is developed with a one-story single-unit residence and a single-car garage. The project that's before you is to convert the garage into an accessory dwelling unit that's a studio unit. As part of that project, they are proposing a very small addition to that structure, really to make it a more desirable floor plan for the unit. As you noted in the project description, the unit's proposed at 240 square feet, so it's still a pretty modest size. There are some site constraints with the existing lot. So the requirement for open yard for just the residence, excluding just the accessory dwelling unit that's being proposed, is typically 800 square feet with minimum dimensions of 20 by 20. Those areas for open yard, really what the intention behind that is to provide outdoor living space for the residential unit. It can't include areas used for vehicular purposes, so for example, a driveway accessing the garage. And it also can't be located within the primary front setback or the first 10 feet of the secondary front setback. And as you can see on the site plan, even with the secondary front setback, a majority of the area that does provide sort of an outdoor buffered space is in that 10-foot area as well. So this whole portion here cannot be included in open yard. So just the open yard as it exists on the property right now is already non-conforming at 471 approximately square feet. At the rear yard, that's the only area that generally meets the intent of open yard. And even then, it doesn't necessarily meet the 20 by 20 dimensions. So with an accessory dwelling unit, you can further reduce the open yard requirement down to 500 square feet with minimum dimensions of 15 by 15. Still in this case, it doesn't meet 500 square feet or fully the required dimensions. It does have the length, but not necessarily the width that's required. Comprehensively throughout that portion of the property, they're requesting to drop it down to 396 square feet. And staff is supportive of this. In terms of consistency with the zoning ordinance designation for the property. Again, it's RM, which is residential multi-unit. Accessory dwelling units are allowed, in relationship to a primary residence, so this is consistent with that. And will also allow for a more desirable floor plan within that unit. I can show you the floor plans for that, but again, it's a pretty modest size. Change with the garage conversion. They're also proposing to replace their required parking, which isn't a requirement. They're just opting to do that by putting a stall in the existing driveway so that they'll still be maintaining a parking space for the residents. Other reasons for why staff was supportive for this modification is, again, because of clear site constraints. It's a relatively small lot. It's under 5,000 square feet, approximately 3,414 square feet. again, there's really no other area that they could, really do an accessory dwelling unit on the property without further encroaching into the open yard. And again, it's to make that unit a little bit more livable for the owner's preference. The site, again, with the existing building footprint, relationship to the driveway, and the fact that open yard can't be located in these areas also presents site constraints. So by that, staff is supportive of the open yard modification, finding it's to alleviate an unnecessary hardship on the property to accommodate an accessory dwelling unit, which is allowed under the government code and the city's ordinance. So the project is also categorically exempt, we found, per 15303, which allows for the construction of a new accessory dwelling unit on the lot. And there's no environmental concerns that were noted for this particular project. I do have some site photos just to show you really quickly. This is the existing residence, existing garage that's supposed to be converted. So again, they're going to be pushing that towards the house to make it a little bit larger. You can see that the front of the house has a lot of landscaping already, which, again, while that area doesn't provide the intended definition of open yard space, it can certainly, provide some buffer between the public right-of-ways and relief with the building being set back from the street. This is where the gate is here. This is that side entrance to the existing open yard. You can see a portion of the open yard here towards the back. So there is some open yard space at the back that will definitely be used. And again, the front areas, while they can't be included as part of the open yard, do provide some relief on the property. That concludes my presentation. The owner and applicant are here as well, if they'd like to add anything.
Thank you, Ms. Plummer. Would the owner or applicant like to speak?
Yeah, I think Ms. Plummer said it very eloquently, but, huh? Sure.
Sure, I'll let you take over.
As noted, my name is Jonathan Villegas with Darkman Building Design Engineering. Whoops, sorry. My name is Jonathan Villegas with Darkman Building Design Engineering. Again, this was a fairly difficult site to even be able to provide an adequate ADU space for a very limited floor plan. The floor plan itself, even though it's not of great importance, but it's a very small floor plan, very modest, and in this case, we just found that this would be the most expedient way to add more livable space and still provide parking. Like Mrs. Plummer said, we had the option of not providing the additional parking space per the ordinance, but we did want to provide that both so we don't put more strain on the street that is already strained with parking as it is. And so we were considerate of that. I know there's been a couple of letters from neighbors that made those concerns as well. We also are very conscientious of the existing architecture that the house is, kind of like this, early century architecture here, and we matched that with our design of the proposed ADU as well. So we were very conscious of that. So that's pretty much my presentation, unless is that the same thing?
Very good, thank you. Ms. Gu, is there anyone with their hand raised for public comment on this item?
Upon checking Zoom, I do not see any raised hands for public comment, and I do not see any in the room. Thank you.
Very good, and did receive just one public comment letter from a neighbor, Judy Bruskin, and she raised a couple of issues on this project. One, a general planning issue. She's questioning the concentration of ADUs in the area. And she's also questioning the wisdom of not requiring parking. And I can address both of those. ADUs are throughout the city. There is a nice web map on the city, so there isn't huge concentrations in certain areas of the city. I was a longtime West Side resident. I know well the impacted streets to parking, especially in this area. The issue with that is the state of California has asserted that housing is a matter of statewide concern, and there's a housing crisis. So they've taken authority to limit how cities and counties can regulate development, including parking for accessory dwelling units. So we don't really have a say in that. For better or worse, it's just not something that we have purview over. As Ms. Plummer stated, this application's for an open yard modification only. I concur with the CEQA determination on this, and I concur with the findings in the staff report that this is a modest, appropriate improvement that relieves undue hardship with our open yard requirement for this particular project and this particular lot. So, Ms. Gu, could you put the other PowerPoint up, and I'll announce the appeal period.
Okay. Should be right after.
So, like the other project, this decision may be appealed to the Planning Commission. For information and guidelines on how to appeal, please contact planning staff at 805-564-5578. And again, they may be filed in person at 630 Garden Street, or at the email address on the screen within 10 calendar days of this decision. And with that, I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.